Second time this week, we're on the air here from the Virtual Kentucky Speedway as we get you ready for racing in the Bluegrass States, virtually on iRacing, as we welcome you in to Sparta. All right, that was not a good rendition, but I tried. Get you ready for round 14 of this Sim 500 FEG Xfinity Series. As we are here for 120 laps of racing, 60 the halfway point here this evening on this 1.5 mile track that has 17 degrees of banking and a tighter radius in turn 1 and 2, and in turn 3 and 4 more the sweeping old school 15 degrees that you remember from Kentucky Speedway. That is what you'll be seeing here in just a few minutes. Of course, this track repaved a few years back and, well, got a lot of criticism, and now you see NASCAR doesn't race at it anymore, so maybe that explains something. But needless to say, we're here tonight, and we're getting ready to do some racing in Kentucky. Point standings entering tonight's race. Pedro Mojica, his two-race win streak, snapped at the hands of Daniel Hawkingham with the 9th win of the season for him. He has a 94-point lead over Pedro. Josh Adams third. Chad Coleman, Tommy Ryan, your top 5. 3 races to go until the playoffs are here. It is going to be a race to who can make it in the FEG Xfinity Series. We just have to see what all happens when it is all said and done. We'll talk about that more in the race. Let's take a look at the laps and who is where right now. Josh Adams has a 2-lap lead now over Chad Coleman in the battle for the Ford Entertainment Group wheel, the Fanatec CSL Direct Drive wheel that they're going to be giving away to the driver that runs the most amount of laps. Not leads, runs the most amount of laps, which is right there if you look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8th column over. You'll see laps right there at the top. 1,605 so far in the lap column. Of course, that's brought to you by the Ford Entertainment Group, PC, and they specialize in sim racing and sim flight gaming machines with over 3,500 PCs built for sim racers and sim flight pilots. All FEG PCs come with a front-to-back warranty on every part, as well as free labor. Everything is covered PC. Cars are out on track. They're wrapping up qualifying right now. And I shall tell you that Tommy Ryan right now has the pole. We'll see if that continues on here in the next moment or so. Of course, hopefully you're enjoying your Sunday evening. Coming off a historic race earlier. I won't mention any spoilers for those who tape it. I'm not that mean of a guy, just so you know. But something cool happened today. Just put it out there like that. I'm double checking a rule. That's kind of the reason why you're seeing me stall like this. And I'm just double checking. I remember reading it as they go out there on track for the warm-up. So forgive me, I'm going to be quiet here for just a split second as I look. Of course, they do have the 3 sets of tires. 2 are in the pits. 100% fuel. As we wrap up with practice here There we go. That's what I was trying to get to. Cars are grading. We'll go to the lineup here in just a second. The reason why I'm stalling is I want to go see something really quickly. And I promise. Top 16, that's what it is. I want to make sure I had the number right. Yes, top 16 drivers make the playoffs in this series. So with that said, let's take a look at the starting lineup now. Justin Fuller on the pole in the 51 car. Some saying he might actually be the car to beat tonight in that 51. So we'll have to see. He'll start next to the 9-time winner of this season, Daniel Falkingham. Tommy Ryan, Kevin DeBrown in row number 2. Row 3, Josh Adams and Tyler Dalton. Row number 4 is where you'll see Bob Gillenwater, Mike Mondesi, Pedro Mojica, Eric Arnold in row number 5. Row 6, Mike Kelly, John Muschin Jr. Good qualifying effort for him there in row number 6. Row 7, Chad Coleman, Charles Woods, Anthony Calantoni, John Fowler there. Starting 16th tonight in a pretty cool McDonald's paint scheme. Lance Ripka, Jeff Ryan there, row number 9. Row 10, the Rhinestone Cowboy himself, Glenn Campbell and Ron Holyfield, who was having some issues in turn 3 early. Hopefully he gets that repaired. Row number 11 is where you'll see Richard Beasley and Jose Speedy Gonzalez, Bentley Glazier, and Chuck Sweeting in row 12. Row 13, Josh Parker, who likes to start in the back. We'll see him up front, I'm sure, in a little bit, with Randy Oakham, Steve Herring, Kevin England, Doug Sigmund, Brian Wortman, going to be the 30th and final starter in tonight's race. As I mentioned, it will be 120 laps of racing, 60 being the halfway point. Let me go ahead and tease you with this. They cannot make it to halfway without pitting. It's going to get interesting because the tanks are really close to it. As the green flag will wave from the Kentucky Speedway virtually on iRacing. As always, our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook and in the iRacing forums. Just look up TrackCams22 and get the closest you will get to real-life cameras right in front of you. As off turn 4, you see Tommy Ryan making a move for third on Kevin DeBrown. Josh Adams there in his outside lane. Josh actually settling there in the 4th position as Tommy Ryan falls to 5th. As I mentioned, the 2 different styles in this track. You got the sweeping turn 3 and 4 right here, which is actually 15 degrees of banking. They come down the front straightaway, which I've always kind of jokingly said whoever drew the line on the front straightaway, I think looked like that Geico commercial right there. It's like I think they missed the apron or something. And in turn 1's a sweeping 17-degree bank corner that you're pretty much almost wide open in. Jeff Ryan under attack. Mike Mondesi inside. And Mike will take the spot away. Now, one thing that's interesting about Kentucky right here in the tri-oval is actually progressive banking to the top. I don't know if they were trying to permit side-by-side racing there, but it might or might not have worked, right? Oh, the postman under attack. Charles Woods outside, John Fowler inside. As I mentioned, that McDonald's number 48 car. Good news each and every week. I try to sit here and improve the stream and stuff like that. I'm actually, for the first time tonight in this series, broadcasting a game capture type mode instead of the display capture. So I'm actually got my OBS is what I use for broadcasting sitting in front of me on the main screen. I'm actually looking through my OBS screen to see the broadcast. To see the race and stuff. So something I tried out last night in a broadcast. It worked out, and I'm doing that. The next project is the ticker, and that's where I owe you the apology, because as you see, part of Brian Wortman's name's cut off, and I've been trying to figure out how to get that part fixed on the ticker. It's going to take a little work, so forgive me for that. Up front, Falkingham not letting Fuller get away. Kevin DeBrown not letting either of them get away. Right now, 0.3 of a second separate the top five. As Mondesi continues to work on Jeff Ryan for position. Ryan with Jeff, and he dives it in there. That's tight. One car down in the inside wall. John Mustin Jr. No caution. He kept it spun to the inside. I am not sure what entirely happened there. He's still sitting on track. This might be a black screen issue. If so, as long as he sits there, he might be okay once he gets back, but no caution so far. And he did tow to the pits. Get a replay of that here in just a second. All right, let's see what happened to John real quick. Lets off the gas, and that car just beelines to the left into the inside. Ooh, that's going to leave a mark. Yeah, that definitely looks like some kind of hardware issue. Maybe his wheel came off even. Hopefully that's not the case, but looks like his race, unfortunately, going to come to an end. Back live. There's the leader. And you see the top three, top four have not broken apart from each other. They're all right there on top of another. Everybody pretty much single file all the way back here to Richard Beasley. And Beasley running right now in the 16th position. But honestly, everybody probably saving tires. I've been hearing words about tight being the word for the setup in this car tonight, which is never a good thing because obviously that right front tire is going to be screaming at you. We go 14 laps complete. Everybody pretty much single file all the way back to Ron Holyfield, bringing the 25 Lance Ripka with him in a battle for the 18th position here. Forgive me as I try to multitask here at once. I like to call myself out on the air in case you haven't noticed. There we go. Fixed it. The clean and green so far, 16 laps in. Here at the Virtual Kentucky Speedway. Appreciate everybody joining us here. If you're new to the broadcast, you can always hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube or on Facebook or even in the even in Twitch watching this. I just realized that, wow, even my ticker's just swapped up on me. Well, anyways, 18 of 120 laps complete. I was working on like so many things earlier. I'm really mixed up now. So John Mushin 6 laps down, back on track. As you see, Josh Adams loses a spot. Pedro Mojica up 4 spots already. 5th position for him, doing a good job right now. As we ride on board with Pedro into turn number 3. Up front, Daniel Falkingham going to jump to the lead. Or try to. Fuller going to lead that lap barely. Tommy Ryan starting to attack Kevin DeBrown for position. You got Mojica there behind him. Mike Kelly here inside, 23 laps complete. Mike started back in the 11th position so far in this race, doing a really good job here so far. As we look at lap times right now, falling off a little bit, about a 1.5 seconds already on these tires. Everybody feeling kind of tight right now, so if you have not done a good job saving that front tire, as you see Mojica and Kevin DeBrown continue to battle there with Tommy Ryan in front of them. Beasley and Glazier continue to fight. You see Beasley losing a position there to the 48. And here comes the 18. That is Bentley Glazier making an appearance. Running the top side there in the 16th position. Not sure if that's the fastest way around this track, especially in turn 1 and 2. Let's check back here. Charles Woods under attack with Jose Gonzalez to his inside. Thinks better of it. Nagoya, number 26. You see Gonzalez goes by. There goes Chuck Sweeting to his inside. .44 there right behind them. That's Glenn Campbell. Daniels pulled away to a 9/10 of a second lead over Justin Fuller. Jeff Fuller, former Busch North driver back in the day of that series. Raced in the Xfinity Series a couple times, and John Mustian there without a hood out there still battling. 6 laps down. All right, so we have been caution-free so far, knock on wood, but we're going to step away for just a quick second, and we'll come back with more racing here from the Virtual Kentucky Speedway as you're watching the FEG Xfinity Series on the Captain Esports Network.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.
So, of course, as I go to commercial, Justin Fuller comes to pit road. The gentleman who ran second in this race just for a little bit here has come to pit road, and he is sitting there, so I'm not sure what entirely is going on. Tires and fuel, maybe. But he, unfortunately, off the track now as Falkingham leads with Mojica. Tommy Ryan, Kevin DeBrown, and Josh Adams, your top 5. Check back here, Chad Coleman and Anthony Calantoni, the 10th and 11th positions. And remember I mentioned the guy going through the field usually? How about this? That Hunt Brothers Pizza number 81, Josh Parker, up 17 spots, all during the green flag. He is up to the 8th position. For some reason, he enjoys going from the back all the way to the front. Sometimes it works. Last week at Iowa, not so much. But that 81 has got a fast pie on the run. And here's a battle. Bob Gillenwater for the 4th spot. And Bobby G going to take the spot away. Eric Arnold making a pit stop. This could be a scheduled pit stop here for the 31. Let's check on it. The old school Terry Labonte paint is in. Right side tires going on. And unfortunately, it looks like Justin Fuller's taking his car behind the wall, so I'm not sure what happened to the 51, but a 14.5 second stop for Eric Arnold, so he's going to have fresh tires to work with here as he tries to pull an undercut on somebody. Up front, Pedro Mojica 1.98 seconds behind the leader, Daniel Falkingham. Pedro started back in 9th, right now up to the 7th position. Oh, and caution is now out. John Mustian Jr. has wrecked. And that's going to throw the whole fuel window out. And unfortunately, it's going to really hurt the 31 of Eric Arnold. What happened to Mustian? He's up in the outside wall. Now he's in the inside wall. Is it screen issues again? And he toes the pit road. So, yeah, I think for a second time in a row he had screen issues. All righty then. Well, this is going to make it definitely a two-stop race now to get to the finish. All right, pit road's open, and here comes the Hornet's Nest. You see Fuller still sitting there in that 51 car. And he's going to pull away. Good stop for everybody. 14.7s across the board. All right, while we're in the caution here, I'm going to step away for a quick second. I'm going to go to commercial, and then I'm going to be on my logo for a second. I'm going to make a tweak to the broadcast that I need to do and do something that's going to make it a little bit better. So I'll be right back here. I apologize for the inconvenience here, but we won't miss the green flag, I promise you. We'll be right back here on the Captain D Sports Network.
This is the world's premier online racing simulation. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat from your home computer with the most realistic online motorsports experience you'll find anywhere. Race virtually in the world's biggest events with officially licensed series, cars, and tracks. From the high banks of Daytona to the blistering speeds of Indianapolis, the dirt of Eldora to the world's most legendary road courses. It's all here, and with more than 180,000 people just like you already driving, you'll always have someone to race. Ready to get behind the wheel? Sign up at iRacing.com to get started.
All right, back we are at the Virtual Kentucky Speedway. Again, apologize for the small little hiccup here. I was trying to work on logo issues that I had a little bit ago, and I noticed some changes happened on my screen, so I was trying to multitask. This is what happens when you're a one-man show, and it's where I give credit to those who have all the multi-talented people that run the broadcast here for iRacing, if it's the Coca-Cola series or my friends over at GSRC that I actually did the Le Mans race with them last weekend. That was kind of cool. Yep, I'm a one-man show. That could change soon, by the way. Tease. But we're under our first caution. John Muschin Jr. having some issues off turn 2. And that brought everybody to pit road now. We're going to have a dash to lap 60, 18 laps to go. Brian Wortman coming down pit road to top off the tank. These guys can go about 55 to 57 laps or so, give or take. Of course, from here, that would get you to lap 97 to 100, somewhere in that area. But we shall see. But right now, we are going to turn it up on the Captain Esports Network, bluegrass style from Kentucky. Here we go. Tommy Ryan on pit road for some reason. Not sure why the 99 is in, but unscheduled stop. And a long stop. Not sure if he got a black flag maybe or something. He's been there for about 35 seconds now on pit road in GFY Focus. That's done and over with, my man. I feel bad about the rant I went on, but you'll never take the competition out of me. For those who don't know what we're talking about, last night, as always, I like to stream when I race too, and I had a good ranting moment. If you enjoy those, you can go watch last night's stream. All right, Daniel Falkingham leads. Pedro Mojica, Kevin DeBrown. What can I say? I'm competitive. Josh Parker and Josh Adams. A couple of Joshes, a Kevin, a Pedro, and a Daniel, top 5. And Tommy Ryan still on pit road. Finally, a 71-second stop. So that's I would say that's a penalty of some kind right there. Mike Kelly there in that 2 car. up 4 spots from the 11th to 7th position, but the guy behind him there, Bentley Glazier, up 15 spots into his outside. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, the one thing I do like about this Kentucky build on iRacing is you can run up here towards the top in turn 3 and 4 and still get a run down the straightaway. Look at this run. Right back to the throttle through 3 and 4, or through 1 and 2. Tyler Dalton, haven't said his name all night. Inside Ron Holyfield, the 19 car, going to make a swap for position there as he gets inside to the 15th position himself. Bringing Eric Arnold with him. Arnold did take the lucky dog and is now 17th on track. So unfortunate break for him, but he's going to take advantage of it and try to get what he can here. McDaniel continuing to lead up there. Mojica to Brown, Parker and Adams. Bob Gillenwater there in 6th. Mike Kelly, Glazier, Coleman in the top 10 again. And then Calantoni having a great run. He took a few weeks off. Was rocking and rolling, having a great season, but has made his return back. As Speedy Gonzalez makes a pass to the inside of the 26. Or in the 26, I should say. Getting by the 48 there of John Fowler. There you see Calantoni over here in the left in the 84 car. Glazier trying to make that high lane work in 1 and 2, but I'm not sure if it's going to necessarily be there. At least right now. So we got 7 laps to go before we hit the halfway point in this race, which is also the, oh, don't come together, boys. The part where we'll give away 10 bonus points to the winner of this, we'll call it stage or a halfway point, down to 10th. That'll get 1 point. Kind of like a stage race, basically, but they only do the halfway point. We'll stay green unless a caution is out. Check back here, Kevin England, the 127 of B-Dub's car inside of the Tide ride. Richard Beasley, some right side damage on that 10, not looking good. In the 19th position right now, and England going to take that spot away. Jump back up here to 9th and 10th because these guys getting pretty testy here. Right here at the borderline. The battle for the last playoff point, or for last stage point, I should say. That corner is very tricky. And what I mean by that is you go down into turn 3, it's actually flat. And then it banks up in mid-corner. So it's very tricky to get into. You can get loose on entry, even tight on entry. Top 5 all still the same as everybody kind of spreading out now a little bit. Parker doing a great job there, 4th position, up 21 spots. I mentioned the battle. Here it is, 10th position, Glazier and Calantoni. And Gonzalez coming in now. Also Chuck Sweeting there in a 57-48 also. 5 cars underneath the blanket here battling for that last playoff point. Oh, look out, loose is Gonzalez. Oh, don't go down there, Chuck. If you've never seen a race at Kentucky, there are drainage manhole covers down there on the apron. You get one of those things, you're going spinning. Calantoni holding down the 9th position right now. Chuck Sweeting there in 10th. Or I'm sorry, Gonzalez 10th. And Sweeting in 11th right now as we hit the final lap of this stage, we'll call it the halfway point. As we're a half-second separation here. And once again, it will be Daniel getting the 10 bonus points. Pedro going to get 9. And then the battle back here, Calantoni with the 2 points and 1 going to Jose Gonzalez as we pass the halfway point. All right, and we're going to step away for just a quick second, and we'll come back, get you the last half of this race from the Virtual Kentucky Speedway and the Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series on the Captain Esports Network.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.
All right, back we are, Virtual Kentucky Speedway here on iRacing, the Captain Esports Network, and the Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series season. Understand the anger there, Mr. Mustian. Appreciate the compliments also, but sorry for your luck more importantly. As Daniel Falkingham, 0.6 of a second lead over Pedro Mojica. Kevin DeBrown third. Josh Parker and Josh Adams, your top 5 right now. And let's check back the blanket battle, as I was calling it a little bit ago. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th right here, all within about a second of each other. As Chad Coleman looking underneath Mike Kelly. And you got a battle back here. Glenn Campbell and Lance Ripka there in the 25 car. Guys back here in the 20th position, kind of struggling just a wee bit. Unfortunately, John, I hate to bring it up, but the one caution so far in this race is the technical gremlins of Mr. Mustian. The Raging Cajuns are raging tonight, unfortunately. And his computer is too, apparently. As Coleman trying to get around Kelly. This is at the 7th position. Try. By the way, Mustian running a PTSD paint scheme this month. The month of June is PTSD Awareness Month. Obviously a lot of servicemen, we'll call it. Oh, look, he got a little tight there. Had to get out of it. Jose Gonzalez has to go by. There goes Calantoni. In a second, you'll probably see Santa Claus go by. Oh, no, there's Sweeting. But with that paint scheme, one thing that I will bring up is a lot of people suffer from PTSD, from officials to any abused person, anything like that. So if you know somebody who has that kind of a battle on their hands of any kind of a mental health type of deal, make sure you're there for them. Help them out. So next time by, 50 laps to go. As Parker trying to get past Kevin DeBrown here. That's the third place battle. Kevin right down on that yellow line. That's the best way to take the air away from that Mustang behind him. So we'll come back to that fight here in a second. We definitely got this battle here, the postman and the winger. The wingman, we'll call him. How's that? Kevin England, the wingman. And Charles Wood, the postman. Battling out for the 16th and 17th positions. You too, sir. I would not do the first part, by the way. Bobby G inside of Josh Adams for the 5th position here as Gillenwater takes the spot away. All right, so let's pull up the pit strategy board here, as always. We'll pull up the top 10. They all pitted at lap number 39. And let's just call it 55 laps tonight for their tank of fuel. And let's estimate it up to 40. So 40 and 55 get you to lap 95. So it's my Nuggets, we'll call it. Larry McNuggets, or McScala, as some call me. So lap 95, about 23 laps away for these guys, and that'll easily get them to the finish of this race. I would not be surprised to see some people short pit, potentially. They try to do some, what they would call in open wheel terms, undercutting. Oh, hold on there. Glazier getting a little free off 4. And Chuck Sweeting having a good run. He's worked his way up through the field here. Coleman not ready to give that position up as Calantoni there behind him. Glazier in there, you see Mike Kelly there in the 2. Looks like Kevin England a minute ago had some issues. Went off track, came back on there, so I'm not sure if maybe went down on the apron and clipped the grass or something there. But looks like Kevin is okay and in the 18th position right now as the fight is on. Calantoni and Glazier continue side by side. Calantoni there continues the fight, and we actually got, I mentioned the short pitting. Here we go. Kevin DeBrown is on pit road, lap 75. I didn't think it was going to be this early on the short pitting. Right side tires on the 93 car. And 14.9 there, and here comes Arnold. Eric Arnold on pit road. Of course, he's probably got a little skepticism after the caution came out there on his pit stop just a little bit ago. As Arnold pulls in, and his professional pit crew there in the suit and tie. Left sides go on, and he pulls away. All right, so Daniel Falkingham leads this race. He's got 1.0 seconds, or 1 second, we'll call it, over second place Pedro Mojica and Chad Coleman to pit road, the Georgia Bulldog driver. Chad locks it up, pulls it in. You see Uga up there at the top on his board. Yes, that is the name of the mascot in Georgia, Uga. If you don't know how to spell Uga, U-G-A, Georgia Bulldogs. I know it's like duh, but yeah, some people might not know. 14.9 there for Chad Coleman. So I'm starting to talk about Mojica's second right now. He has got 3.2 seconds over Josh Parker. And the Hunt Brothers Ford running into third position right now has got 0.3 of a second over Bob Gillenwater. Here's Bob on the track. And Bob's got 0.7 of a second over Jose Gonzalez, who is coming on this long run here. And Mike Kelly is coming to pit road. So is Kevin England, looks like, is pitting. Randy Yoakum. As we're at 40 laps to go in this race. A lot of people splitting this in half, it looks like. Which, when you look at the trends, Daniel Falkingham has had that trend of running long on his stints. So, yes, if you're these other cars, short pit, try to get the advantage with the track position. Jose Gonzalez on pit road. Josh Adams, Tyler Dalton, Campbell, Woods, Mondesi, Ripka, everybody's on pit road. Let's check out the Best Buy Supra. As Tyler Dalton also comes in. Four tires and fuel, and he pulls away. You see Jose Gonzalez getting away now, too. So let's see who else is in now. Josh Parker, Sweeting, Calantoni, John Fowler, and Ron Holyfield now in. Lap number 83 here. So that leaves us with 5 cars on the lead lap that have not come to pit road, I believe. Nope, I stand corrected. We still got Doug Sigmund and Brian Wortman, of course. How would I get that wrong? As Sweeting pulls away, you see the pit times down there at the bottom as they leave. And now Bentley Glazier in. And that Fox Camaro, they just Fox Factory just opened up a building here in the town I live in. And there goes Bentley out. 4 tires and fuel and a 14.9 for him. So 6 cars have stayed out now. We got Daniel Falkingham, Pedro Mojica, Bob Gillenwater, Beasley, Sigmund, and Brian Wortman. The 6 who have stayed out so far. Wortman, I can go ahead and put the money I have left in my bank account on the line right now. Says he will be the last car to pit. And here comes the leader. Brings it down off the banking there, locks it down. Yellow line there is where you got to get to 45 miles an hour, I believe. And the 39 is in. And the January 31st, number 39. Right side tires going on. 4 tires in fuel. Pedro Mojica is going to come down right behind him here. Went 1 lap longer. 14.4 for Daniel. Good stop. Here comes Pedro. Here comes Gillenwater with him. So that should hand the lead to Richard Beasley. And obviously, if I'm Richard, if I'm Wortman, if I'm Sigmund, I am going as long as I can go on a tank of fuel, which should be about 8 more laps. As those guys pull away. So there is your leader right there. Oh, here come the fresh tires. So who is going to be the eventual leader? Oh, Beasley gets the wall into 1. When the pit stop cycle through. Got a little surprise here for you. Kevin DeBrown. That short pit he did. He pitted 10 laps sooner than Daniel Falkingham and has about a 3.5 second lead on him as Daniel just ran the fastest lap of the race that time by. Randy Oakham coming to pit road as Doug Sigmund going to lose the second position. But Beasley leading right now. And there's Daniel Falkingham, who actually has a 2-second advantage on Jose Gonzalez now. So in that 1 lap, he was able to stretch it out just a little bit on the Pedro Mojica automobile. As a matter of fact, here's a battle now. Josh Parker, Joshua Adams, and Pedro battling. This is the 8th position right now. Pedro with the fresher tires out of the bunch, pitted at lap 86. Adams had to burp out of it. They go by the Doug Sigmund car. There's Chad Coleman. That's actually a battle for 5th now right here. This is 4 cars now. Up here for 2nd. Falkingham passed DeBrown for 2nd. And while that goes on back here, Mojica rolls right through 5th through 8th in 1 lap and takes the top 5 spot now. So you're seeing that just those couple extra laps on these tires are hurting those who kind of short pitted, but it's worth the strategy when it comes to if you are to get a caution or something right now. You maybe steal a couple positions. As Adams gets past Parker. So Josh, after starting all the way back in the 25th position, ran as high as 4th, is now back in the 7th spot right now. All right, 25 laps to go. It is time to do what I usually like to do here during each broadcast here of the Sim 500 series, is talk a little bit about what's coming up in the league. Let's start with tomorrow night in the North Carolina 811 Cup Series. On LSR TV, Byron Daly went to victory lane at Gateway last week. And how about this? Next Gen cars tomorrow night on the Iowa Speedway Oval. Oh, that'll be a fun one to see. 160 laps tomorrow night. That'll be over on the LSR TV channel. And then just recently announced the Super Speedway Series presented by Race City Sports Memorabilia. That'll be starting up here Tuesday at Daytona. I believe that'll be on Virtual Racing Network. Wednesday night, the Trans Service Truck Series on Ghostfire Media. Daniel Falkingham winning at Gateway last week. They're actually running Knoxville this week, the dirt track, for 100 laps there. That'll be Wednesday night. Should be a fun one there. Friday night, the Truck Series, the Midnight Series as they're called. They'll be at Phoenix. They got 2 races left in their series. Phoenix, after Falkingham winning Friday night in Darlington, as Richard Beasley finally comes to pit road with 25 laps to go. He pretty much ran that tank out. And that brings us to the series that I believe is about to, oh no, I'm sorry, it's actually already been finished. So we'll see what happens with that. Of course, the Throwback Series that was on Saturday nights. And that takes us back to where we are now. And great racing as always here. You can never be disappointed by the Sim 500 series. They do a great job. We're out here racing clean and racing hard. No captains out there on the track, so that means they're going to stay green. Yes, that's a diss of myself. As this battle just doesn't seem to go away, except there's 4 different cars now, 5 different cars. Parker, Coleman, Kelly, Gillenwater, Sweeting, all 5th through 10th, or 6th through 10th right here with 23 to go. Want to mention, of course, the Ford Entertainment Group, PC, specializes in sim racing and sim flight gaming machines with over 3,500 PCs built for sim racers and sim flight pilots. All. Hold on, they're 3 wide here. I'm just watching this as Gillenwater makes a move. Gillenwater with some of the fresher tires out of that bunch right there. Nice pass. Oh, almost some contact with Coleman and Adams. Or, Parker and Coleman. Back to what I was saying. The Ford Entertainment Group works on over 3,500 PCs built for sim racers and sim flight pilots. All FEG PCs come with a front-to-back warranty on every part as well as free labor. Everything is covered PC. Of course, they got that direct drive wheel, the Fanatec CSL that they're giving away, and 2 of the top guys right now are battling right there in this pack. That being Chad Coleman and Josh Adams up there at the top of that list right now. I've been told the John Mushton issues were VR issues. 3 wide again! Yikes! This is easily the best. Almost 4 wide down the back. No, guys. Oh, contact. Sweeting, what a save. And here comes Tyler Dalton, says, thank you. Can I have another? He just took 4 spots in 3 and 4. Oh, now there's trouble up ahead. The 3 car, Jeff Ryan's gone around, no caution. Anything else going to happen? See if I can find what happened to Jeff. It didn't even register on my replay here. Yeah, Kevin England here on his inside. Oh, they hipped. Oh, netcode hip check into the wall, both of them. Ouch. Nearly stopped on track. Look at that. Oh, wow. Scatter. No caution from that. And that's mainly because nobody spun. And then watch this a second ago. They're still 3 wide. All right, that was before this. Sorry. That was before this. Here we go. Oh, Coleman gets into Sweeting, trying to give Glazier some room there. Battle for third, Jose Gonzalez. We'll go back to that other battle, by the way, in a second. Going to watch this here for a quick second. Jose with, I believe, fresher tires on Kevin. Meanwhile, back here at the playground. Beasley going by with the 4 Mr. Feelgoods. You see Kevin England on pit road. Unfortunate stop there for him. How about Eric Arnold's climb back into the 13th position? After his pit stop there, he got caught on pit road. $15 laps to go, 3.9 seconds to lead from Daniel Falkingham on Pedro Mojica, who's got 5 seconds on the battle for third as that's calmed down now, so we can finally go back to this. As Gonzalez tries to get around Kevin De Brown. Boy, if you like this, come back next week, as we'll have 2 races to go in the regular season as we actually hit the virtual Chicagoland Speedway. That's a fun one. That'll be really fun next week. And then back to Daytona for the final race before the 4th of July weekend and the playoffs start. Of course, this season they shortened up the season for the Xfinity Series for apparently more time to watch football during the summertime, which I can understand. As Coleman's now going backwards. Mike Kelly under attack now. Here comes Chuck Sweeting having a great run in 9th right now. Parker with that damage on the right side. It looks like somebody stepped on the box of his pizza. Oh, Chuck washes up the track, and there goes Josh right on by. Sure, Mike's not going to be happy about that. And here comes Tyler Dalton. Racing behind these guys, behind the leaders, has been pretty frantic all night. Here comes Gillenwater for 5th. And going to clear him down to turn 3. And Bob's got about a second or so, and he might be able to get to Jose Gonzalez for that position. I continue to go back here because these guys cannot get away from each other. Eric Arnold's joined this battle in 11th. Or make that 12th, I'm sorry. Oh, Chuck got a little out of shape there. Here comes Dalton for 9th. He'll take that spot away. Meanwhile, up here at the ranch, here's Mr. soon-to-be 10-time winner. If he can lead these last 8 laps of the race. Yes, I did say the words to him before the race. I said, hey, good win, Daniel, which usually, at least the 2 other times I've said it's led to Pedro winning, which I didn't do it for Pedro's sake. I just did it for fun because it's funny. And he came back with on me saying, I won't win this race. So maybe that's his counter curse to me. Went all Danhausen on him. Good win. Look at here. He caught him. Bob might not be done. He might be able to get to Kevin DeBrown before this thing's over with. Fourth spot. He's driving like a beast right now. There's Kevin right up there. Six laps to go. Oh, here we go again. And no, I'm not complaining. This has actually been a very entertaining race. Once again, a track that a lot of people think has been ruined in real life comes into iRacing and actually puts on a pretty decent show, a pretty good show here. A lot of passing, a lot of good racing, a lot of pit strategy. Side by side here in turn one. Dalton had to get out of it as we got 4 laps to go. Eric Arnold still back there trying to get around Mike Kelly for 11th. I mentioned only the one caution here tonight, and that was for equipment failure on John Mustian Jr. Twice, actually, it happened to him. John's unfortunately going to finish 30th. Now, I talked about a minute ago, Brian Wortman is about to go a second lap down. He actually is driven away from the 39. Credit for Brian getting up on that wheel. 2 to go. And here we go. As I mentioned, he would probably get there. We got this now. We got this going on again. If I can only do some split screen stuff somehow. Dalton trying to get around Adams for the 8th, or Parker, I should say, for the 8th position. DeBrown has been able to hold off Gillenwater. There you see back there Kelly and Arnold going at it. And they got Callan Tony there behind him. Meanwhile, Daniel Falkingham's on his last lap. Gillenwater looking low on Kevin. As these guys battle still. We'll come back to it. 14 races have been completed this season. This guy's won 10 of them. Add to the list Kentucky, conquered by Daniel Falkingham. And now the battle for 4th side by side, actually for 3rd. Oh, door banging across the line. Kevin DeBrown, I think barely. No, they gave it to Bob. No way. Oh, low contact. That might be more of a good race, maybe, I would hope. Pedro Mojica once again going to finish 2nd to the 39. I'm not going to win tonight. Surprise! He's getting pretty good at this. All right, let's take a look at the final results from the Bluegrass State as Daniel wins it by 4.2 seconds over Pedro Mojica. 4/1000ths of a second separates Bob Gillenwater from Kevin DeBrown. That's impressive. Jose Gonzalez finishes 5th. Josh Adams 6th, Bentley Glacier 7th, Tyler Dalton, Josh Parker, Chuck Sweeting gets himself a top 10. Eric Arnold ends up 11th, Calantoni 12th with Mike Kelly 13th, Glenn Campbell and Chad Coleman ends up 15th. Mike Modesty, last car on the lead lap, in 16th. Charles Woods 17th, Lance Ripka finishes in the 18th position. Ron Holyfield 19th and 20th to Richard Beasley. 21st through 30th, Brian Wortman, Doug Sigmund, Jeff Ryan, Randy Oakham, and John Fowler. 25th, Tommy Ryan, 26th. Kevin England, 27th. Steve Herring, 28th. Justin Fuller and John Muschin Jr. finishing in the 30th position here at the Virtual Kentucky Speedway. There's one of the manhole covers right there on the screen. I was talking about on the front stretch. Let's talk to some drivers after a wild finish here. Let's get they look all of a sudden. I do not see Bob Gillenwater. Where'd Bob go? Making sure I didn't miss him. Oh, he's up here in the waiting room. These people pull sneaky ones on me. They go up in the waiting room. I'm used to going down to their channels and pulling them up. I'm looking down here for you, Bob. I'm like, where's Bob? Oh,
sorry
there he
about
is.
that, man.
It's all good. Hey, man, what a fight that was. On the video, it looks like Kevin had it, but they gave it to you by 4/1000ths.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, it's fun. Kevin, we end up around each other, seems like a lot, especially at the end of these things,
Right.
and it's a blast with him, I'll tell you. Just we were beating and banging, a lot of fun, a lot of respect for Kevin.
Yeah, I did not think that tires would play. I knew it would play a role because how tight the car was, but I did not think of a short separation. I mean, Kevin obviously was one of the early ones to pit, but you had cars around you that pitted less than 5 laps before you, and yet you blew their doors off.
Yeah, I think I was just, my short run speed seems like I struggle with it. And I guess it saved some. The longer runs, I mean, I hated to see that caution.
Right.
Because I'd kind of worked, I think, towards third.
Mhm.
And, if I could have had a clean pit stop, I think I could have held it there. But, yeah, it was, I'm not sure about that because I noticed it too because I thought, man, I've waited too late. There's only a few,
Right.
laps difference. I'm probably in trouble here. And, yeah, when I got to him, man, it just started clicking them off. And we went 3 wide there once, man. I wasn't going to slow up. And I was like, whoa, wow,
I wouldn't have either. I'm trying to get the replay up of that finish with you two. I'm not getting the cooperation out of it. But either way, man, still, what a great job it was here this evening for you, man. Way to come back from that late pit stop, get yourself a top 3 finish, and send shout-outs to whoever you like to.
Yeah, first and foremost, Ford Entertainment Group, FEG, and a prize at the end of the season. I'm nowhere near close to running for it, but just, what an awesome sponsor. We just, we thank him so much for taking care of us. And, of course, the league, Sam 500, Joey and Jimmy, they're not here tonight, but, they run the show, do everything great. All my teammates, the Sam 500 Mafia, appreciate those guys. We worked a lot during practice together. And, of course, my sponsor, Beast TV, big shout out to all those guys, and Mark and Bama and Larry and Debbie and everybody over there. Just appreciate them so much for being on the car. And, of course, can't do it without Captain Esports, man. Can't wait to go back and watch this one.
Yeah, this was a fun one. Definitely saw a lot of entertainment there. I know a lot of people have not been a fan of Kentucky, especially with what the changes they've done, but with the tires and with the tight setup there on this car, there was definitely a lot of action there at the end of this race. And no, you were definitely a part of it. So great job. Congratulations, man. And go enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and we'll see you next week in Chicago.
Yeah, sounds great, Chris. Thank you a lot, man.
Absolutely, my friend. Thank you, man. That is Bob Gillenwater in the third place finish by 4/1000. You saw the replay there of how he did it. And I don't think he'll see in a replay that, like, if that line is 50 feet later, he doesn't finish third in this race. All right, so the usual suspects here in the top two. Let's talk to those guys. Let's start with Pedro, who finishes in the second position. Pedro, I obviously apologize. I think my jinx has gone back on me. It did not work tonight, but it's still another top two finish for you.
Yeah, no, it was a good run, Chris. You know, like I said before, Daniel's really tough, man. He's really good everywhere. So, I mean, it's tough to finish second a lot,
Right.
but I mean, keeping it close, you know, I don't think I'm making it easy for him. So, and we were able to sneak out a couple wins already. So, I mean, you gotta be in contention in order to win races. So we're there every week. So, just this track was it was tough, man. And as the night went on, this got really, really tight. And that first run, I played it real easy. I was able to do that just because of where I was at on the track. And they really paid off. I think towards the end, I was catching Daniel a little bit at a time. But then yellow came out. We all pitted, restarted essentially on first tires, and I ended up having to run harder than I wanted to. Just because I was trying to keep the track position. That was the biggest thing. So I didn't want to let Kevin or Josh by, because I knew as soon as one goes by, it's a freight train, especially that early in the run. So kind of ran a little harder than I wanted to. And being in dirty air, track's cooling off, tight setup, it just makes, it's just all the right combinations just to burn your tires up a little bit more than the leader. So I think that's what happened there. And then I was hoping pitting a lap later and managing my tires, I would be able to catch back up to Daniel, but he did a good job managing his tires and was able to keep the gap ahead of me. So didn't help either coming out of pit road. I came out behind like 5 people for position.
Right.
And got hung up for a couple laps, so I'm pretty sure I lost probably about a second there just trying to get around those guys. So anyway, all in all, a good run, especially for how we qualified and how I felt going into the race to be able to have a chance. You know, I'll take it.
So I got to ask the question. I asked Bob this a second ago talking to him. You guys pitted on the same lap. You guys came down pit road, and the separation, it seemed like, obviously Kevin DeBrown I eliminated out of that because he pitted at lap 75, so he was like 10 laps ahead of you guys. Meanwhile, these guys pitted less than 5 laps before you. It seemed like I did not think tires were going to be that big of a deal. How you and Bob, though, just ran right through the field and passed a lot of people, and it created what ended up being very entertaining racing at the end.
Yeah, no, I figured, you know, I guess you would think that because the track cooled off so much,
Right.
but I kind of knew with that many laps on tires, and really especially where we came out, right? Like I came out behind a group of guys who pitted about 5 laps before I did or whatever, so you know, the fresh tires, I'm gonna have the advantage right off the bat, and it's gonna be easy for me to pass. And I'm sure the same for Bob. It was the same deal for Bob. But as the run goes on, if that guy's really far out, like in my case, Daniel was, I don't know, 4.5 seconds out. I was only able to knock off a second, and then Bob was quite a ways back, and he battled Kevin to the line, and Kevin had way older tires. You know, it's just eventually there's a point there, especially with the cooler track, where the lap times level off. But you know, it's really all about track position, man. When you come out on new tires, you know, where are you at relative to your competition?
Well, you did a great job tonight, man. Congratulations on another second-place finish. And shout out to whoever likes you, bud.
Tap out tuning, V Performance Academy, Michael Sharp Racing. Appreciate them being on board, sponsoring the car. Glad to continue to give good runs and represent them well in each of these races that I do. FEG for sponsoring the series. They do cool prizes every year for the series that really give everybody a feeling that they have a chance to win something. So that's really cool. Trey Edson for painting the car. Appreciate him. Car looks great every week. So glad that I could represent that well for him. Joey, Jimmy Coleman, and I guess in relief for these guys today we had Randy be the main admin. But appreciate all the admins at Sim 500 and everything they do, and putting up with us. We don't make it easy sometimes for them, but we appreciate them and what they do for the league. And then appreciate you, Chris, putting on the broadcast. Hopefully, like you said, we put on a good show for you and the fans, and then everybody on Team Name. Fun group of guys to race with. We're real competitive with each other, but we had a lot of fun. So I appreciate those guys for keeping it entertaining.
Absolutely. Well, great job tonight. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week in Chicago.
All right, thanks.
Absolutely, buddy. That is Pedro Mojica, the second-place finisher tonight here at the Virtual Kentucky Speedway. Congratulations to him. And, of course, Mr. 10-Man now. He counts to 10, and better than I can probably. But his 10th win of the season here tonight, he has played the reverse curse on me by saying, I'm not going to win tonight. That changed quick.
Yeah. Yep, I guess I had to pull something different on you.
In all fun, though, what a great race it was. I know Justin obviously was up there to start the race, and you got better than him, it looked like, in the long run. How was it taking care of those tires out there? I know it had to be a little bit of a struggle knowing what you've been through the last few weeks.
Yeah, for sure. This was not fun to drive whatsoever. It was just plow, plow, plow. But there was weird times where if you could push the right rear or get the right rear spinning off the corner, that you could actually get a little free and be really loose, and it actually helped turn the center. So, but no, that was really not fun at all to drive. But once I did not have a good lap in qualifying. I could have ran around what Fuller did, but Fuller had the pole, so that actually kind of gave me the idea to just lay back, save tire, just let him lead the way, let him pull away. And then we did that just fine. But I definitely learned something down in turn 3 where you had to apex really early, get your left front on that white line, and there's just like a grip strip down there where it just hooks you around the entire corner. So I was doing that pretty much right from maybe lap 10 or something, and I was doing that every lap, and that's where I would be destroying everybody in 3 and 4, and we eventually got around them. So yeah, that was definitely a good run, but I knew Pedro was coming. He was saving his stuff a lot more because he was just in the pack chilling, where I was racing for the lead, and I definitely killed my stuff just trying to keep up with him and just being in Fuller's wake. So. But definitely that second run, I learned a little bit, and I definitely felt a bit better. But that final run, I don't know what I figured out, but I was just hauling the mail every lap. So it was a good race. Not a fun setup to drive, but we overcame it, and we got another one.
Got another one. And the good news is you do have 30 or 29 others with you that had to drive this setup all the same tonight. And I brought it up to Pedro, and I brought it up to Bob. I mean, you didn't have to worry about it too much, but just the way the tire advantage, it almost had, even though it's a newer surface, it almost had the look of like a Darlington or Atlanta, the way that the tire separation was. You had people pit like 5 laps separation between, say, like Pedro and another driver, and it was like he would blow their doors off a couple laps later because it was just that big of a separation in tires. We had great racing at the end.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like with this tire model, I feel like the fall off is all the same because you pretty much fall off nearly like a tenth.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lap, and just no matter what track we go to, pitting later is always going to be the advantage. But I pitted a lap early before I wanted to come to pit road before Pedro did because I feel like once he pit behind me, he was going to win the race because I knew it was going to be really hard to pass him back. But once I saw Josh pit, I just pitted there. And then, thankfully, we got out ahead of a good clump of cars. I don't know if you saw that, but Pedro got stuck in a lot of traffic, and that's where we were able to pull our advantage. I mean, Pedro was gaining on us there at the start of that last run. That's because he had the flat, fresher tires. But then we, plateaued, and we evened out. So whatever I did in the last run, I took care of my tires really well, and I was just able to cruise home. So, yeah, pit strategy is still a thing of when you want to pit versus, how early you want to pit versus how late you want to pit. And I think we found the happy medium.
So I look at it here, and this kind of talks about it here also. I mean, your fastest lap of the race, you ran a lap, you came out of pit road. You came back around, ran a 30.93. When you crossed the line there, you ran a 32.67. That's a second and a half off in that run. So
yeah, that's expected.
Yeah,
that's expected with how the setup handled because it was just so tight.
Mm-hmm.
And you really, I don't want to push early because I just wanted to keep. I mean, I didn't have to run as long as I had to on the first 2 runs. They were both like 40 lappers, but I still wanted to at least keep the right front intact in case, I didn't want to murder it too much where I would just like fall off a cliff, because you can do that if you just push it too hard. But thankfully we didn't do that, and I think we were starting to pull away there at the end. So, but like I said, we took care of our tires really well. I learned a lot, and felt really good.
Awesome, man. Well, great job tonight. Shouts whoever you like to.
Yep, just got to thank January 31st, First Bay Laps 207 for all they do. Got to thank everyone who runs the show, Sim 500, all the admins, everyone who races each and every week. Thanks FEG, Ford Entertainment Group, for sponsoring the series. Everyone at Team Name, Jack Coleman, Josh Parker, Pedro Mojica, Kevin Brown, Richard Beasley, whole gang over there, and everyone at North Force Racing, Preston Gilson, runs the show over there, and all my teammates, Parker White, Daniel Buttafuoco, David Shieldhouse, Tyler Gary, Colton Salick, everyone over there, Dylan Basin as well. Getting ready for Road to Pro Round 2 starting up in a few weeks. Preparation is going to be well underway here pretty soon. So, yeah, looking forward to that. So thanks to everyone over there who allowed me to come over and do this. Thanks to you for doing the broadcast. You're a one-man show, but you nail these broadcasts out of the park. So appreciate all you do. Thanks to all the fans who watch us each every week. Shout out to Cosman, Splashical Graphics for painting up this car. And thanks to friends and family for their support.
There you go. Great job, my man. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week in Chicago.
All right, thanks, Chris. You have a good one.
You too, buddy. Is Daniel Falkingham the winner tonight here in the Virtual Kentucky Speedway? Congratulations, Dim. Great race it was tonight. There were a lot of passing going on, especially in that later part of the race. A lot of strategies going on, and fantastic. Only the one caution tonight here at Kentucky. So congratulations, everybody from the series. And again, next Saturday night or Sunday night, we'll be back here from the Virtual Chicagoland Speedway. The mile and a half in Joliet. We'll be ready for the race there coming up next Sunday night. 2 races before the playoffs. So it's going to get really good here in the series. As a matter of fact, I'll get all caught up and see where we look with the top 16 and stuff. And we'll start looking at who's on the bubble and focus on that battle as we get towards the end of these 2 weeks, especially when we go to Daytona in 2 weeks. That ought to be interesting because the wild card will be wide open there. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Enjoy the rest of the weekend that you have left. If you're off on Monday, congratulations. Enjoy that. Otherwise, we, as always, will say the usual. This isn't just a game. That's the wrong button, Scala. This isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See you.